I define friendship as the product of two variables, loyalty and respect. And if you are a young, ambitious person and you want to connect with other young, ambitious people, you want to expand your network, you want to get into those upper level circles, listen up, because I'm going to explain what goes on in at least my head. I think most young entrepreneurs who have had a tiny bit of success will be able to understand what I'm getting at here. So it's actually quite difficult to get into someone's circle, someone's inner circle, through either of these ends, through loyalty or through respect, but they're difficult in different ways. Loyalty can only really be tested in pressure and in time. So the waiting time is not action oriented. I was talking about this the other day, funnily enough, with a young entrepreneur friend of mine. And I was talking about the difference between waiting time and action time. So if you gave me two options, option A, Carter, I will give you $10. You just have to wait 10 minutes. Or option B, Carter, I'll give you $10. You just have to move these 10 rocks. Now listen, I don't know how big these rocks are, but it could be small rocks. Maybe I could find a wheelbarrow. I'm taking option B. I don't want to have to wait time that I can't accelerate with work. Some things you just can't speed up with work. The Olympics are happening in 2026. There's nothing you can do to make it happen faster. The next US election is happening in 2028. There's nothing you can do to speed that up. Loyalty is very difficult to speed run. The only thing that can really test loyalty that much that isn't time is pressure. It's pretty hard to manufacture pressure. But respect, you can get into someone's circle almost immediately through the right side, through the respect side, if you are the right type of person. Now, there are plenty of things that can garner you respect. I won't go into all those, but I want to touch on one specific reality of how high ambition, successful people connect with each other. And I'm not calling myself successful. I'm just saying I've had like little sniffs of this. I've gotten this idea to at least explain it in a clear manner. The early days of entrepreneurship are pretty lonely. Most people don't really care about what you're doing. Nobody believes in you. And even when you do explain yourself, no one understands. So it sucks. Most successful people understand that feeling, understand that sense of ambitious loneliness that comes with it. They typically have stories of how most people said they wouldn't succeed or something like that. But eventually there comes a day where you are doing well. People start to notice. You start getting more recognition and praise. It's a very stark contrast from day one. When you meet a new person, part of you is always aware that the conversation you're having with them is on the bedrock of your success, because you remember when you hadn't accomplished anything, no one was really around to connect with you. Nobody really wanted to talk to you because, probably because they didn't even know who you are. And it's not like these people who are now wanting to connect with you are bad because they just want your success. It's not about that at all. But you just understand it's not something you actively think about in conversation, but it's just a present reality that this meeting, who I'm speaking with, is on the basis of what I've achieved, assuming it's in the context of work or whatever it is that you do professionally. However, there is a group of people who bypass this filter, and it's the people with the filter themselves. Other young entrepreneurs, other people who went through that loneliness phase and who understand what it's like. It's almost like the Spider-Man meme when you're starting to talk to someone and you get a sense that this person's been through some of the same things I have. I have respect for this person because I can connect with them and I can relate to them on struggle. But yeah, it's kind of like the Spider-Man meme where you're pointing at each other thinking like, you're only talking to me because of my success, but I'm only talking to you because of your success. And there's an unspoken handshake that kind of takes place and a realization that this conversation is happening on level 2. This is not your typical dynamic. And I know this sounds like a little bit arrogant and egotistical. Like, I'm not saying that, once again, level 2, there's probably 1,000 levels to this game. I've just barely scratched the surface. I'm just trying to explain something that I've noticed and that I've realized being able to connect with other young, ambitious people thanks to the podcast. It's allowed me to meet very, very interesting and hardworking young men and women. And I'm using the term success pretty generally here. It's more like success relative to struggle or relative to obstacles, because persistence is really what people respect. It's success in face of difficulty and challenge. Because I've spoken with people who are objectively more successful than me by a long shot. But you get into conversation, you ask them kind of what they've had to go through, what they've had to battle, what they have to overcome. And there isn't really much there. Of course, they could just be keeping it in and not sharing much. But, sometimes you just get a sense that some people have, garnered some fantastic success, but there hasn't really ever been a challenge. There hasn't really been something that's really tested them. So that's just to say that success is contrasted against struggle. That's how you can get respect. So this video is just to talk about friendship, relationships, networking, connecting with other people. I think that this is a solid framework to consider it from. Loyalty, you have your friends who are close to you purely based on loyalty. Maybe they're not living, a lifestyle that you necessarily want to emulate. They could be addicted to drugs or something. But if you've known them for 6-10 years and they've never wronged you, they've always shown up for you when you needed them, these are people that I still want to be around. These are people I want in my circle, despite, maybe they're not completely dedicated to the same mission. Respect. These are the friends that you can make like this. It takes no time, because you realize that we can skip that getting to know each other phase, because we can talk in our own language almost, and you can relate on struggle, which is huge. So respect. These people can get in. You can know them for just a day, a month, 2 months, and start working with them. Obviously, ideally, your friends are going to have both traits of loyalty and respect in your eyes. So if you like this kind of content, consider subscribing. I'm currently building a media agency called VOV Media and working on a rebrand for 2026 for the podcast. And these are kind of just the raw, authentic thoughts of an ambitious 21-year-old who hasn't made it yet. So hopefully one day I can look back on this and kind of get a peek into my mind today. But nothing's guaranteed, and I might just end up homeless or dead. So I guess we'll find out.